Brits and 5 Americans have traveled to Las Vegas to find out one thing. Can they go from total novice to expert poker player in just 10 days?
Damn it!
At stake, a seat at a big money game up against seasoned professionals.
Good luck, everybody.
To win it, they must learn not only how to play the game, but how to play each other.
I've got my little strategies. I'm trying to act a little dumb about, the gambling and stuff like that. I think everybody is, to tell you the truth.
Coaching the novices in tactics and card play is poker expert Lou Krieger.
Poker doesn't separate the men from the boys. It separates the losers from their money.
And analyzing the action and handing out advice is success strategist Dr. Sally St. John.
If they're going to win, they're going to need to lie, cheat, deceive, confuse their opponent. And that's before we even begin the poker.
Each day, a task tests how well the players are learning their lessons. And every night, the Virgins play a winner-takes-all game of Texas Hold'em. The prize? Eliminating a competitor. Alternate evenings see first an American and then a Brit go home, until the final head-to-head reveals which player is worthy of a place in the big money game. Last time on Vegas Virgins. Alliances were shattered at the task when players declared who they loved.
Probably gonna go with Donna.
Of course, I could be...
And who they hated.
I feel that everybody has pacts with everybody, except for me.
And after a traumatic week, a homesick Donna was mercifully sent back to Britain.
But I think it's gonna be the best decision for the group. So, Donna, I want you to leave.
On tonight's show, the Virgins are tested on how convincingly they can lie to each other.
I once accepted an indecent proposal.
Ellis lands a hand from heaven at the poker table. And an American elimination hangs heavily over the 3 remaining Yanks.
Tonight's a very big night for me. Very big night. Because, like I said, if I don't win, I feel I'm going home.
Now that we're down to 6 players, the alliances in the group are becoming even more sharply defined. David and Brandon are overflowing with confidence because their master plan, which is to eliminate everyone else, is coming into fruition.
Once they're gone, then it's gonna be no problem. We're gonna win the games over Maria and Anna. That's no problem. I don't worry about that at all. And I get to whip your ass. Yeah, right.
What we have now is the dynamics of the group mirroring what's going on the poker table, with David and Brandon being the strongest players, avoiding head-to-head confrontations so far by actually picking off the weakest players, using their alliance to intimidate and distract them. By contrast, we've got Maria, who's always kind of stood apart from the group dynamics, and now she's kind of wondering if this is going to work out for her.
I've never said anything to anyone about who I was going to vote off, or, even if I was planning on bribing people to stay and, have me stay, and I didn't want any part of it, and now I kind of feel like it might hurt me a little, but at the same time, that's not the way I wanted to play the game.
It looks like Anna has really refined her approach over the last few days. I think she realizes the disadvantages of being too closely aligned with just one individual or clique, and I wouldn't be surprised if she is more cautious with the alliances that she makes with the remaining players. Well, now that the initial high of getting on the show and coming to Vegas has passed, they have to ask themselves this question: do I really want to win?
Yeah!
And if the answer is yes, is this alliance worth having?
It's the morning of day 5, which begins as always with a poker lesson from mentor Lou Krieger. Today's focus is on bluffing, and the Virgins will be taught how to spot who's lying and who's telling the truth, both at the poker table and away from it.
Well, welcome to today's masterclass. I have to confess, I was a little shocked when Joseph turned up in a Batman costume this morning. I don't know whether that was a psychological ploy on his part or he simply freaked out and can't stay under the pressure of the competition. But either way, it didn't seem to bother any of the other competitors. But there are three different kinds of bluffs. The first is a naked bluff, and that's a bluff when you have no hand at all. It's a straight-out lie. You have a 3-5, and you just fire a big bet into the pot, hoping that your opponent doesn't have anything, and that your opponent folds, and you'll win the pot. That's the toughest bluff to get away with, because if your opponent happens to call, you're pretty much toast. Another kind of bluff is called a semi-bluff, and that's when you bluff with a hand that gives you two ways to win. One way you might win is that your opponent folds and you take whatever money is in the pot. The second way to win with a semi-bluff is you have a hand that's not a made hand yet, but it could improve to become the best hand on the next card or the card after that. Bluffs work best against fewer opponents. If you're playing against 8 other opponents and they're all in the pot and you bet, you have to steal your way through 8 other people. That's really hard to do because somebody is sitting there and saying, I'm not going to let him steal my money, and they're going to call to keep you honest. Somebody is almost bound to do it. So bluffing works better if you're heads up or against 2 opponents than if you have a whole bunch of them. We talked a lot about bluffing today, and bluffing will play a big part in your task. So good luck, and we'll see you all at the tournament tonight. Thank you. In terms of who to watch for, at one end of the spectrum you have Ellis, who's very easy to read. And at the other end you have Brandon, who's been able to disguise the fact that he has bad hands and also give off signals that he has a weak hand when he has a very strong one. What I do know is that great poker players are acute observers of others, and if they're going to remain in competition, both away from the table and at the poker table, they have to maintain this skill.
Coming up,
Okay. Your third question, Maria.
it's a game of true or false in the desert.
I often wake up having wet the bed.
David and Brandon get underhanded at the poker table,
It's absolutely wrong. It has no place in poker.
and a loose-tongued Ellis upsets the girls.
I think it was a patronising comment to say eye candy.
Las Vegas exudes an image of wealth, sophistication, and glamour. But it's not called the city of sin for nothing. It has a darker side, an underbelly of crime that most tourists remain blissfully unaware of. Meet Lieutenant Brad Simpson, one of Vegas's finest detectives. He solves crime by spotting lies, and mastering this skill is the challenge facing today's players. In poker, unintentional body language known as tells can give a player's strategy away. An experienced poker player can spot a bluff from the twitch of a hand or a misjudged smile. And similar techniques are used in crime fighting. An American is evicted tonight, and the onus is on them to detect whether the British players are telling lies. The players are taken to the desert outside Vegas, with the Brits being taught how to lie by Dr. Sally St. John, and the Americans being taught how to find out the truth by Lieutenant Simpson.
Good morning. Morning. My name's Brad. I'm with the police department here. And what I'm here to do is give you a few clues on how to figure out if someone's lying or not. Everybody who lies is constructing a story, and what they have to do is remember what they've said. Someone who tells the truth only has to remember the truth. So when they lie, they're going to give away some emotional tells that'll give them up. Now, the face tells a lot when someone's lying. Their eyes may not match their mouth. If they're smiling and the eyes don't look like they're smiling, that may mean they're telling a lie. If they play with their hands, if they play with the rings on their hands, if they should touch their nose or their ear a lot while talking to you, they may be looking for ways to create a story rather than tell the truth. Keep those things in mind as you're doing this, and I know the pressure's on for everybody today. I'm wishing you guys the best of luck, but I think we need to move off to the rendezvous point, so let's get going.
With the Americans well prepared, can Dr. Sally help the Brits deceive the Yanks convincingly?
Welcome to the middle of nowhere. Today, I'm going to teach you the art of deception. There is a break in the central nervous system immediately when a person lies. So if they ask you a question and you move your hands, it's a signal that you're lying. If you shift body posture, if you move your mouth and you're not talking, but especially the eyes. If you break eye contact with the person who's asking you the question, the biggest thing, if you move around. So when they're asking you a question, the best thing you can do is look right at them. Or, you know, do the old double bluff and make it look like you're lying on all your questions.
Let's start like this.
You know, but whatever you do, be consistent, okay? Because that's what they're going to be looking for.
Each Brit will face one American opponent, but neither side knows exactly who they'll be meeting.
I think you have a very interesting task with these people. Somebody to tell a lie, somebody to figure out whether or not they're lying. The stakes are high, so that makes the lies a little harder to tell. In my position, I would say that if something's on the line or very important, the lie has to be very good.
First up is David. He's been given 5 statements about himself to read out. Some true, some false.
The generally accepted wisdom is that bluffing one person is much easier than bluffing 4 or 5 or 10. But trying to bluff somebody when they're staring straight at you can unsettle even the best of players. David is among the more accomplished bluffers. He gives off very few tells. We've deliberately placed David and Brandon together. Thus far, they've avoided having an encounter one to another. And by placing them together, this one should be very, very interesting.
We're hoping to take the game. We have it planned that me and him are the final 2.
Lieutenant Simpson observes from the front of the limo.
I used to live in a brothel in Sydney, Australia.
Brandon must guess whether David's statements are true or false. They're both playing for bonus chips, but the onus is on Brandon as he faces elimination tonight.
So that's when you were traveling in Australia, right?
That's right, that's when I went travelling there. I stayed there for a time and then I got sponsored.
And so, was it like a hotel or was it just a house that used to be a brothel?
It was a house that used to be a brothel.
Like David, Brandon is cool, intuitive, and adept at bluffing in the poker matches. But can he spot when other people are using the same techniques?
How old were you when you were there?
I was 22.
22?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that statement is true.
That statement is a true statement.
You got to pay attention, and that's how I'm going to win the whole thing is, you know, pay attention.
I was an altar boy.
Altar boy. Let me get a look at you here. Little altar boy, were you? What did you wear?
We wore like white robes from top to bottom.
So I'm going to go with that statement is true.
It's true.
Yeah, that's right.
Brandon's reading his opponent masterfully and winning a stack of extra chips into the bargain, although he manages to pull one back.
So I'm going to go with that statement's true.
False statements.
David continues to struggle at bluffing his American ally.
Everybody who lies is constructing a story. Someone who tells the truth only has to remember the truth.
The fifth and last statement is, I've flown in a British fighter jet.
How did you get to do that?
My brother's a pilot in the Navy. Before he did that, before he did his helicopter, he did his fixed wing training, so he's doing aircraft.
You sit in the front or the back?
You sit in the front, the trainer sits behind you.
Okay, David, Mr. Fighter Pilot.
Top Gun.
Top Gunner. Because Lieutenant Simpson was talking about so much over-information, and you just kept talking and talking, I only asked you one simple question, and you kept going on and on, I think I'm going to go with that statement as false.
It is a false statement. 4-1.
800.
Brandon paired with David. That was a classic because I think they're both very good. Brandon did well in determining whether he was lying or not. But David, I thought, told good lies.
Brandon's convincing victory does not trouble David, as they have a secret agreement to protect each other at the poker table.
But it makes a difference, really, where our chips are. Because at the end of the day, they're our chips.
Right.
Whether on your hand or whether in your pot or my pot.
Right.
And we've got to sort that signalling out as well.
Yeah. It's kind of funny we're paired up together because, you know, I don't know who knows what we're doing, you know, but it's like a win-win situation right there. We can't. How can you lose if he's got chips? He's got more than me. Doesn't matter because he'll protect me, and if I get more than him, I'm going to protect him.
But David and Brandon's alliance hasn't gone unnoticed and was spotted by poker mentor Lou Krieger in last night's game.
Well, the cardinal rule of poker, the rule that overrides every other rule in poker, is one player per hand. And when you have alliances, they're fine and dandy for the tasks and for deciding which player to evict. But when you have alliances where there are more than one player playing a poker hand, you've got a big problem.
Next to walk the lonely path to interrogation is Anna. Again, she has 5 personal statements, some true and some false.
One course of bluffing strategy is to have the same fixed response for every hand so nobody can tell what you have. Another way is to send off random patterns of signals so that they can't tell what you have either.
Did you know it was going to be me?
I did not.
Right, Joe. My first statement is I had plastic surgery to pin my ears back.
How long did it take to heal?
I didn't have it done.
Okay.
Anna's gone for a clever double bluff, but will Joe spot it? Since the beginning of the tournament, Joe's ability to spot a bluff has steadily improved. But tonight sees an American get eliminated, and when put under pressure in the past, his judgment has become clouded.
What was the name of the surgeon?
I didn't have a surgeon.
I'll have to say that your statement is true.
I did not have plastic surgery. So you are wrong.
For the next 3 questions, Joe successfully reads Anna twice
At what point did you go to school with her?
and fails once.
I believe you're telling the truth.
Well, I'm not.
Joe has one last chance to see through Anna's double bluff strategy and win some chips.
I once accepted an indecent proposal for a plane ticket.
What did you have to do?
I just had to get undressed.
Where did you go to from?
I went to England from Miami. Does your brain hurt?
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, if it doesn't make sense, I must be lying. Am I?
Or are you? I think it's true.
I did.
Joe and Anna, interesting pair. Anna comes across, to me, to be a really good manipulator, that she can tell a story to have it go her way and knows how to manipulate the conversation. I think Joe had trouble picking up on the deception, what she was using, how she used her language to tell a story that didn't fit. Sometimes her stories just didn't fit, but Joe couldn't pick it up.
Anna, yeah. Anna's a good game player. She could lie with the best of us. I was only able to get 3 out of the 5 questions correct.
Meanwhile, David and Brandon are confident they've read their fellow players perfectly.
As soon as the winner at the table isn't either you or me, then whether it's an American or a British night, then
I don't think so.
it'll be going home. Unless it's Anna. Anna would vote off Ellis. Ellis would definitely vote off me if it was a British night. He'd vote off you if it was an American night.
I don't think so. I think he voted off Joe way before. He's pissed off that Joe voted off Louise.
Yeah, but it's beyond all of that now.
Yeah, no, it's not. I don't think so. These guys aren't playing like that. They're not. I don't think they're smart enough to think that. Do you want to get rid of Maria?
No.
You want to get rid of
No,
Joe?
it's the same order.
Joe, Ellis, Maria, Anna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Just got to win.
Our final suspect for questioning is London property developer Ellis.
Can bluffing be learned? Most definitely. It's all about putting yourself in a place where you can see yourself as others see you and act accordingly. I've known poker players who practice by looking in a mirror or watching themselves play back on tape so they can see what their face reveals.
Hello, sweetie. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. First one. I blagged my way into the media centre at the Chinese Grand Prix without a ticket.
How?
I didn't do it. I couldn't get in.
Do the old double bluff and make it look like you're lying in all your questions.
You're saying you didn't get in?
No.
That statement was false?
Yeah. Every ticket has got a number on it. Once you're into the circuit area, and then they ask you for your ticket again. They give you a wristband to tell you what area you're in. So you have to have a wristband and a ticket that match. The security is incredible there.
So why'd you say you did?
Sounds good.
Has Ellis successfully double bluffed Maria?
False.
I did.
Oh, son of a... I was gonna say it! Oh.
That was hard, I'll tell you that. That was hard, because I don't even believe I did it, and I did.
Come on!
This outburst of disappointment echoes Maria's frequent inability to keep her cool at the poker table.
Next one. Come on, quick.
Over the next few minutes, Maria correctly calls 2 statements.
The statement's true.
And loses another.
False.
Fuck. Stop it!
With the threat of elimination looming, Maria must concentrate hard on reading Ellis.
Earlier this year, I was held for 24 hours at Bangkok airport on suspicion of drug running. It turned out to be a case of mistaken identity.
And what happened? How long did they hold you for?
24 hours. I just got there, we were backpacking around, and I had my mate with me, had more stuff and stuff. You know, every time they stop backpackers, they pull you apart.
And you're saying this happened to you?
Yeah. I went through Bangkok airport 4 times within 2 weeks.
True.
No.
Why'd you pick all false questions? You mean you didn't throw... Would you throw one true one in there?
Yeah.
Come on, I thought it had to be true.
Dora, booty cat!
The task today was very difficult for me because Ellis always bullshits. Always. He always tells me stories, and I'm a little gullible to that, and I'll be like, really?
I don't think either of them played their parts as well as they could. I think Maria had some trouble detecting the deception, and Ellis has a hard time telling a lie. He has a lot of facial expressions that I think would give him away in a poker game. I didn't do it. He has too many tells. His eyes give him away. He has a tendency to blink a lot when he's telling a story that's not true. So it might make it rough on Ellis.
The players now know how good they are at reading and deceiving each other. But what effect will that have on their poker and the alliances they've built away from the table? Coming up, the gods of poker begin to smile on Ellis. And with American elimination closing in, Brandon, Maria, and Joseph fight to stay in the game.
Kidding me or what?
With the night fast approaching, the remaining virgins begin to speculate about the poker and tonight's elimination.
As far as I'm concerned, Brandon's the one to go.
They could all be plotting against me. I don't think it's like that because I'm connecting with everybody, but I could be totally wrong.
Ellis and Maria would probably be my guesses for people who would like to vote me off if they were to win tonight.
Tonight I just have to be smart. And if I don't get the cards, I'm going to have no choice but to be smart and bluff.
I really just do not want Maria to go. And I think that if Joe wins, he'll vote Maria off. And I think it's a shame because I think he'll be voting her off because he wants a boy final.
The closer to the final we get, the more backstabbing and double-crossing there'll be.
With the cards about to hit the table, experts Lou and Dr. Sally make their own predictions.
Let's play speculation. There are only 6 players, and let's predict who each of them will evict. Let's start with Maria. If Maria wins, Maria will evict.
I say Maria will evict Brandon.
I agree. David?
Maria. And everybody else, Maria. I'll just make it easy on you. I think Maria's gone.
Okay.
I think everybody but Maria will evict Maria.
I think Joseph will eliminate Brandon. I think Anna will pick Brandon. I am predicting that Ellis will evict Joseph and that Brandon will evict Maria. So I agree with you on half of your picks.
The game begins with the Americans fighting to stay in the tournament. Brandon leads the table with 1,800 chips, including 800 bonus chips for reading David so well. Joseph is next on 1,600 chips. Then comes Maria, who failed to get to grips with Ellis's lies on 1,400. Successfully double bluffing Maria has put Ellis in a strong position, and he starts tonight on 1,600 chips. We join the game at hand 2, and everybody is folded except for David and Brandon. Tonight's poker has only just started, but suspicions about these two are aroused when David throws in a strong hand.
I don't know why David would have folded 2 jacks if there's a collusion in place between David and Brandon. It's absolutely wrong. It has no place in poker.
Brandon had his finger in his collar, and he's kind of loosening up some space like he's getting a little uncomfortable. And it's unusual because Brandon doesn't signal. He's usually very calm and very hard to read.
It seems they're simply following through the plan they bragged about earlier.
At the end of the day, they're our chips, whether in your pot or my pot.
Of course, at this point, the other players don't know what's going on.
It's hand 5, and Brandon, Maria, and Joe have folded, leaving the Brits to battle for the pot.
David has ace-queen of clubs. Anna lands a queen of spades along with the 10 of clubs. And Ellis has an indifferent jack of diamonds, 8 of clubs. Here comes the flop. Here comes the turn card. And Ellis is lucked out with a straight. Ellis moves all in.
Today's task showed them the art of deception and truth detection.
True.
No.
Son of a... And what I'm seeing at the table, interestingly enough, is a lot less signaling tonight. They're actually much harder to read tonight. Ellis, who is usually an easy tell and signaling all over the place, is much calmer.
Unable to read Ellis's good fortune, David wagers a large part of his stack.
David thinks Ellis is bluffing, but he's right to bet because he has top pair with an ace kicker.
With all betting ceased, the cards are turned face up. Ellis has controlled the signals he's giving out and bluffed David into making a big bet. He's now in a strong position.
Only Anna can beat Ellis now with a 10 or a queen to make her a full house. Well, there's a straight on the river. A king comes, giving Ellis a straight. Anna is eliminated.
Nice one.
And David has lost a large chunk of the chips that he acquired in earlier rounds.
A mixture of newly acquired skill and fortunate cards means things aren't quite going to plan for David and Brandon.
Ellis has had beginner's luck. So even the blind squirrel finds an acorn. And the king that came to give Ellis a straight was a perfect example of that.
Hand 11, and the plan is further upset as Maria goes toe-to-toe with Brandon. The pocket rocket had a score to settle after losing to him 5 hands earlier.
Maria's picked up a very big hand, a pair of kings. She's got King Kong, and she's going to go all in with that hand.
500 total.
Brandon has a Queen 5.
1, I'll say, try to save my 4.
It's heads up and all in. Let's see both hands turn face up, please.
As Brandon turns his cards up, Maria drops her bombshell.
King. Oh, Brandon, you'll probably end up winning anyway. Come on, Brian.
Brandon now has a pair of 5s.
Kidding me or what?
But the pair of kings is still far in the lead. Brandon needs another 5 or a queen to take over the lead from Maria.
How about another 5?
It's a 3 of diamonds. Maria's still ahead. A queen or a 5 sends Maria packing for the night.
There's a 5.
Unlikely.
Brandon, the river card.
Queen.
I'm gonna have to take
Queen
that
5. Queen or 5? Come on.
It's a 3. Maria wins with 2 pair.
That time you won with a high card, huh?
We join hand 13 with only David, Ellis and Maria left battling for the pot. Maria has lost her earlier games and is now short-stacked. David has been forced all in and must win this hand to stay in the game.
David has a deuce 3. Ellis is ahead, so he doesn't need any help at all. He's got a king high. Maria has an 8 jack. Both Maria and David are all in. If Ellis wins, and he's got the best hand right now, then we will lose 2 players and be 3-handed. Let's see what happens. We're going to see all 5 cards with 2 players all in. In the hands of the cards now. The players have turned their hands over. Let's see what comes on the flop.
That just stinks.
10 or 1.
Maria has an 8 jack. So at 10 will help Maria. Deuce or 3 will help David. There's a 5 of hearts. Ellis with a king of hearts wins. Maria is eliminated. David is eliminated. We are now 3-handed. And the rich get richer.
So Joseph and Brandon are the only 2 remaining Americans. David's sitting back with his hands in his pocket. Brandon's on his own. And Maria's fate is in the hands of anyone but her right now.
If I don't win, I feel I'm going home.
With only 3 men left in tonight's poker playoff, Joe decides it's time for his lucky teeth. They bring him mixed fortune with a jack of clubs and a 10 of hearts. Ellis has a jack and 7 of diamonds. Ellis is first to call. Brandon then folds, leaving Joe to check ahead of the flop.
Ellis flopped a full house with jack 7. You can't blame Joseph for going all in here. He has trip jacks, which is a strong hand.
Okay, we're heads Heads up and all in. Let's see both hands face up, please.
Joe.
Oh my God.
Sorry. 10 comes.
That is
10 comes
incredible.
The 10 doesn't come, it's all over for Joseph. His Dracula teeth aren't going to do him any good now. He might have bitten off more than he can chew this pot.
Another 7?
All the Americans realize the river card may decide which of them goes tonight. Joseph is out.
Well, all's fair in love, war, and Vegas virgins.
Ellis, man. Yeah, wow.
That is not fair.
We are two-handed now.
wow.
We're heads up.
This is it. We're down to a face-off between Brandon and Ellis.
With his confidence sky high, Ellis offers his hand to Brandon, making both Maria and Joseph very uncomfortable. As ever, Brandon prefers to do business more privately. But whether Ellis is offering a deal or just wishing Brandon good luck is unclear.
Maybe Ellis has moved his gun sights in Brandon's direction, or perhaps he's just turned them away. Let's see what the cards are. Ellis has a queen, 7 of diamonds. Brandon, a 10 of diamonds, 6 of spades.
All in. It's a raise. All in.
This may be over quickly. Brandon moved all in with 10-6. If Ellis calls, he's got the best hand, and he can afford the call.
Come on, Ellis. This is one of these times. You got to go for it, dude.
He's thinking.
Don't back down. If he backs down now, he's going to send a signal of weakness for the rest of the game.
You can see him looking over at Brandon to try to get a read on him. He doesn't have one. Well, if he calls, he's a small favorite. It's all about the chip count at this point.
Yeah, come on, let's go, Rip. What we got put in there?
1,200 more.
Let's have it over with.
Yeah.
Ellis calls.
1,200.
Good.
1,200.
Shouldn't have waited. He should have just done it.
There'll be no further betting because Brandon is chipless at this point.
This means Brandon turns his cards over, followed by Ellis.
Ship me well.
Ship me a winner or ship me home.
Here we go. We'll look at a flop and 2 cards beyond that. Brandon needs to flop a 6 or a 10 and duck a queen coming Ellis's way to win this. Brandon's ahead here with a pair of 10s.
Oh, dear. Queen, please.
1 all in.
Oh.
Ellis pulls a queen on the turn to pull ahead.
Queen, please, or 7.
Brandon needs a 9 or a 10.
9 or 10. Come on.
Or 2 will do.
Ellis has 2 pair.
Stop.
3 of diamonds.
Stop.
Brandon's eliminated. Ellis is the winner. Well, Ellis, who heretofore had been flying under the radar, has become the 600-pound gorilla tonight. He did it playing no differently than he had played up until this point. But the risky hands he played tonight paid off. Who's going to be eliminated? Will it be Maria? Will it be Brandon? Or will it be Joseph?
You know, if Ellis evicts Brandon tonight, he has a chance of winning the whole thing.
Coming up, 6 become 5 when one unlucky American kisses their shot at the high rollers game goodbye.
This decision is one of the hardest. Maria, boys, somebody's got to go.
After being Mr. Invisible for nearly a week, Brit Ellis has unexpectedly found himself in control of tonight's elimination. Ellis must now send one American home, but will he vote with his heart or his head? Despite an at times fatherly friendship, Brandon is still one of Ellis's greatest threats. But did they confirm an alliance earlier in the evening?
If I were in his shoes, or any of these players' shoes, I would simply evict the toughest opponent, whether I like them as a person or not. Ultimately, they're your enemy at the poker table.
Yeah. Although Ellis would prefer an all-male final, he's still wary of Maria's fierce competitiveness.
He's like dynamite, you know. I think she can lie through her hind teeth if she really has to.
Will this lady be asked to leave? An unlucky Joe was forced out of tonight's game when Ellis flopped a full house.
That is not fair.
Will Ellis make Joe pay for eliminating his close friend Louise 3 nights ago?
As competitive as you were tonight, Louise, I want to ask you to be the one to leave.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've had a brilliant time here, and you've all been really good. And this decision is one of the hardest, I think. It's come down to 6 good players. A victory is not a victory unless it's fought against a decent foe. I don't believe in going out and winning easily. And because of that, and because of that only, Maria, I want you to stay. Boys, somebody's got to go. Joe, I want you to go.
Good guys. I enjoyed meeting you guys. Good game, man.
Sorry, Joe.
Don't worry about it.
Somebody got to go.
A little let down because the 4 guys talked how we keep all the 4 guys in. I'm surprised he didn't take out Brandon. I think Brandon's a better player. Reading all his body language, which I've learned to read him over the last 10, 11 days. Yeah, I mean, it's been evident ever since I voted Louise off, you know, that he just was talking out his ass about what he was going to do or what he should do. But he screwed himself by not voting Brandon off, because that's going to be his biggest threat for the Americans now.
I found Ellis's vote very surprising. I think it's sort of really hottening up the situation.
Yeah, tonight was supposed to be my night, and Ellis let me know that earlier. And his decision was probably right. He should have voted me off tonight.
I only just changed my mind. I'll tell you, it was up to 2 minutes ago, it was you were out.
You're sure making me nervous, though. He tried to make a deal with me earlier that he doesn't vote me off tonight, I don't vote him off tomorrow, and I vote Dave off tomorrow. And obviously I cannot make that deal because Dave and I have it down to the wire. I didn't take the deal because I didn't think he'd win. So when I was low stacked and he had all the chips, I said, it's time to make a deal. And he looked at me and I said, it's got to be Anna. So he said, okay. So tomorrow I don't vote him off. And we changed the plan. It's Anna.
Success seems to have gone to Ellis's head as he overlooks just who is left at the table.
May the best man win. That's all I'm saying.
Or lady.
No, I didn't say that. I said may the best man win. Sorry.
Ellis alludes to the fact that he wants a boy final. I find it really sexist and patronising. And he's also said he couldn't vote off Maria because she was eye candy. And I find that so offensive.
Tomorrow's game will dictate whether his plan will come to fruition or not. But for tonight, Joseph's exit leaves the remaining virgins to ponder their luck.
I'm here. I'm feeling a little better. I'm ready for a cocktail. I wasn't going to drink tonight, but tonight I'm going to have to go have one or two to relax a little bit.
Tomorrow, well, I don't know whoever wins, but I'm going to have to go all out to win. Then it'll be 4.
Next time on Vegas Virgins, David and Brandon face the consequences of colluding at the table.
But if you win, you may be disqualified.
Anna finds the next task hard to swallow. And the group reels after a shock British elimination.
Shit. That's all I could say.